People watching, if they don't know, do you mind giving yourself just a quick introduction for the masses?
Yeah, of course. I am Steph Carter, and I am the guitar player in Lyoness.
I'm Gillian, and I'm the singer of Lyoness.
You've all been working from home essentially on music, but obviously the real quintessential part of being a band is just about the gig. Like it's the exorcism, it's the performance, it's the thrill of letting go and sweating and dancing with your mates, whether they're on stage or in the crowd. So how are you finding that aspect?
Yeah, I miss it. You know, we had a lot of plans this year.
Yeah.
You know, we had throughout April and May, we were going to towns, cities we've never been to before. We were playing festivals that I've never been to myself before. So we had loads of stuff in the pipeline actually for this year. And obviously with everything going on, we've not been able to do half of it. So we've just had to kind of change our focus, and where possible, rather than getting stuck up on, we want to be on the road, we want to be playing clubs. We've just tried to focus our time and attention on what can we do to kind of carry on, keep up momentum, but keep up momentum in a way that in the future we'll be able to benefit from it safely.
It's interesting. You know, the stage is a place where we get to connect not only with, you know, the people that are there, whether they're fans or they're new to Lyoness or not, but we get to connect with each other. So we miss that, you know, as a band, just as our little group, that we don't get that kind of connection, and we don't like, we play rock and roll music and big riffs, but mostly we really just like hanging out with each other and laughing with each other and sometimes at each other. So that's been like that connection piece that's missing. But I think it's easy when you start a band to just hustle and hustle and hustle and just try to push and get more. So right now, not having that opportunity to play live, it's kind of forced us to go, do we like what we're doing? We've only been a band for just over a year. And it's been an opportunity to step back and go, do we like this? Do we want to redo this? Like, what's the vision? What are we actually doing? Stuff that if we were running around constantly doing practices and shows, we might not have the time, or we might not have the bandwidth to say, well, what could we do in the studio? Well, what are these songs? What is our sound? What is really the goal here? And it's to make music that we love, whether it's on stage or in a recording.
There's always like a breeding insecurity of like, especially if you rewrote a song, it's like that's done, that's in the box and that can't be touched. But you've done that with your most recent single, Throne, where you touched it again and you didn't tear it apart, but especially fusing in lyrically, it feels like you held up a mirror to what was going on right now, and you kind of made it more true to yourself. So how was that really? And also just how did you find the reception for the new single thus far? Like, it's getting played by Dan Carlin on Radio 1, which is awesome. That's always a good thing. I love that. I love the radio show. It's so good. But did it feel complete once you managed to find the right words? I can't even word it right myself, but you know what I mean? Like, if you hold up that mirror and you question your own insecurities, then something becomes a stronger thing, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because I'm actually a life coach as well. And that's exactly what I do in my coaching. It's a lot about kind of holding up that mirror to yourself, to your client, whatever, and reflecting what's going on and what you really want, maybe what you're hiding from. So with Throne, it was a song that was kind of in the original batch of songs that we wrote, like the original set list or whatever you want to call it. And being American, the current revolution that's happening is not new. It's been going on for a long time. Like, how old is America? You know, a couple hundred years now. Like, it's systemic, right? So this isn't new, but this is certainly a period of some awakening in the more recent, months. So having that opportunity, there was always something about the song where I was like, it's so close, but it's just not quite there. And it was getting into the studio, and getting into Steph's studio, which is next door to this room I'm in now, and sitting down, and I literally picked up the microphone and I was like, this isn't right. There's something that's just not ever clicked in. And I was just like, I have to walk away and I have to figure this out. And I really doubted myself. I didn't know if I could rewrite a song at that stage. But luckily with the boys in this band, you know, Steph and Simon and Ali, they're all so supportive, and we push each other as well. So after having a conversation with Steph and with Simon, there was just something that clicked in for me, and I just kind of threw it all away, re-listened to it, changed the melodies and the words, and I was just like, ta-da, okay, that's it. And it just clicked in, and it was so easy. So it's just as much about reflecting to myself as it is looking to my bandmates and going, what else is there? What else can we do? And finding that place where we support each other and lift each other up, and also to like push ourselves to do a bit better and a bit more.
I mean, that's like, from my own personal experience at least, that's the best part of a band. Beyond the fact you're having fun, also they're your best friends, they're your pirate crew. You know, there's no role envy. You're gonna go through hell together, whether that be on stage sweating, or you're gonna have an argument over a lyric or a melody, and completely like the ego will take over. But also there's a good balance in that, where you just sort of find the middle road and go, oh, nice. And like, it's the eureka moment, like you said, 5 minutes before you're recording your own vocals. That's a special thing to have, just to have like a cool, let's get it sort of thing. And I mean, it shows great versatility, because you both said yourself, like, big riff, dirty, fuzz distortion, blues rock band, awesome. But it's nice to show that sort of more tender side you both have. And I mean, especially for you, Steph, is it like, was it not hard, but was it different for you to sit down and try something softer, or was it something that you've never minded to do?
Well, Gillian and I did a different band before Lyoness called Ghost Riders, or Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to mention that, but yeah.
And it's, the whole point of that band initially was supposed to be a band that, one, no one was ever supposed to know who was in the band. It was just supposed to be a collection of songs. You know, we never wanted to play it live. We just wanted to write some songs and release it. And the goal was for it to be the polar opposite to Gallows, like as far removed from that band as humanly possible. That was it. And then when we started doing it and we started playing live, I realized I just like playing loud and heavy songs. Yeah. So it was about trying to kind of channel it into something that would work. And we finished Ghost Riders because Gillian needed to have a reconstructive hip surgery, and it would be a kind of a long process, long period of time for recovery. So then when we got into kind of the last steps of recovery, we had a long talk about, you know, do we want to try something different? If we do, what direction do we want to go down? And then we kind of just thought, let's just see what happens, and let's just play and not worry about what comes out, as long as we enjoy it. And yeah, you know, like scaling the songs back from being those big bluesy, fuzzy, sub-octave riff driven monsters through to, I mean, even the next single that comes out is going to take it in a completely different direction. Again, like Throne was a step back. The next single is going to be another step back. And then what comes out after that is probably going to be a bit of a driver again. So it's just one of those things that, you know, for me, as someone that's been in, you know, bands since the early 2000s, it's really important to remember you've just got to do what you want to do. Yeah. And as long as you enjoy it, the band itself will somehow make it all fit. And for us, the factor that fits everything together is Gillian. I could write any style of song, get Gillian to sing over the top of it. That's what's going to make it a Lyoness song. She's the reason that the songs sound the way they sound, which is good for me, because it just means I've then got a platform to do whatever I want.
Well, you say whatever.
We're within certain boundaries. We are not going to be a black metal band. As much as
maybe
it.
the next band, the side project.
Lyoness Part 2.
And I mean, like, again, I was going to mention about Ghost Riders, because, like, for me at least, and forgive me if I'm wrong, there was a lot more of like a storytelling aspect, like something you'd find more, less so in sort of a Queens of the Stone Age, more so in like a Tom Waits, Nick Cave, Phoebe Bridgers almost sort of like area And I think it's great when you combine the both, because then you have a fantastic result.
I think what Ghost Riders really was it was an experiment.
Yeah.
It was an experiment to see, one, can me and Gillian work together? You know, but we didn't know if we could work together. At the time we started Ghost Riders, while I was living in England, Gillian was in America. Then I was living with Gillian in America for a short period of time, where we ended up writing, actually a lot of the songs came out in that window when I was living there. And then I moved back, and then the band kind of started with us long distance, and then we got engaged, and then we got married. And in the middle of that was a period of time where Gillian was trapped in America. I'm trapped. You weren't trapped.
I was trapped in America.
Gillian was in America. I was in England. The UK government had both of our passports to process the visa and get everything sorted. And it took an awful lot longer than we thought it was going to. So what ended up happening was I ended up being in the studio for 8 months, and I recorded every possible instrument I could possibly imagine.
Oh, wow.
And then I'd send them to Gillian, and she'd be like, what have you done to our songs? And I was like, oh, just wait, tomorrow we're going to put a cowbell and a trumpet in there. Yeah. And it was just one of those, like, it was an experiment to see what could kind of happen. With Lyoness, it's far less of an experiment, and it's far more of just a controlled release. For me anyway, it's a controlled release of everything I've got in my head. When I pick up the guitar, I write, I play, it comes out, I give it to the band, and they just know what to put to it to make it right. Yeah. Ghost Riders was far more of a bit of a chaotic struggle, I think.
I think as well, it's just as time has passed, we know ourselves better as humans, as individuals, and as individuals in a band, and as a couple in a band. And, you know, I mean, when we started Ghost Riders, I was 22. Or something along that lines. And even if we didn't play shows out until a year or so later, because I was in America for so long. But, you know, the difference between a 22-year-old and a 29-year-old is quite vast. Yeah. There's a lot of time and growth in there. And so I think that's a huge bit of it, is that just we know as individuals what we want. We know better who we are. And there's also always room for growth. And I think there's a certain level of confidence in the exploration of what Lyoness is. Like, we know who we are, and we also know there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about this band yet, or what we're capable of yet.
And I mean, you just came full circle there, back to, again, like right before hitting record for Throne. You need that growth as well, and that brute honesty in yourself. And again, you as a life coach, like, it's great to see, because I'm 20 and I'm like constantly over stuff. So I don't know anything yet. I don't know what's going on. And that's kind of beautiful. And it's like, that in itself is a controlled release, I feel. Just going with it and having fun and playing dirty riffs whenever I please in my own life as well. So beautiful to that. Right. Last question before I set you guys free. What sort of music have you been listening to for your whole lockdown? What's been like your beacon, like your soundtrack, an album, an artist, a song, or whatever?
I can definitely answer that. It's funny you mentioned her already. Phoebe Bridgers has been my like absolute. A couple of years ago it was Billie Eilish, or it was last summer. I don't know. It feels like it was a decade ago. Yeah. And I absolutely loved what she was doing, and I still do. But that album was incredible. And this summer it's been the summer of Phoebe and her songwriting, and Lucy Dacre's
like Boy Genius.
Yes, Boy Genius. That kind of music just connects me back home. Like it connects me back to West Virginia. And actually one of the songs that she does and she covers mentions my hometown, Wheeling. And so it's really strange to kind of have this like, I stumbled upon her music through a friend of a friend. And I just think her songwriting is brilliant. Her voice is beautiful. And I'm just absolutely obsessed. And it's one of those things where I just wish I had written those songs myself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wish I wrote I Know the End. Perfect song.
No, I've just like been listening to absolutely everything. Nice. Anything and everything. I love that new Run the Jewels record.
Oh yeah.
Especially the track with Zach De La Rocha on it. There's just something about it. The delivery and his part. It's just incredible. And then I've been listening to a lot of City and Colour as well. Like I really like the guys in Lexus on Fire. You know, obviously Wade joined Gallows, and I really love what Dal does with City and Colour. And there's one of those records.
I've got such a huge like voice crush on him. You know, and you like are crushing on somebody's voice, but you don't really want to know what they look like, that kind of thing.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and we met. Gillian met them at a festival.
Oh my god!
Oh gosh!
Last year, we went to Download a few years ago to see our friend play, and we were just in the back chatting to Dan Carter just about life. I hadn't seen him in a while, so we were just having a chat, and they were leaving, and like Dal was like, "Oh, hey, Steph," came over and had a chat, and I was just like, "Oh, this is my wife. She loves your band," and both of their faces just dropped.
You said they were playing with Alexis on Fire, right?
Yeah.
Steph said, "My wife loves your other band," and I was like,
"Oh, yeah, that's what I said."
That's
worse. That is way worse. But he didn't care.
It was so worse. He did like
it.
He was super nice, but I was like, "This is not the introduction I imagined."
It's not what you want.
But that, you know, it's just is one of those things. Like,
it's true. I mean,
yeah, no shade. You absolutely loved it, and for him, you know, he's written the songs. He's not going to care. He's going to like it either way.
Thank you very much for coming on today. I hope you guys take care, stay well, and I'll definitely be catching you guys soon because I adore you guys. I love the band, honestly.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No worries. Take care.